All right, everybody. Three more problems here in this review. These by far are the most complicated problems, but they're also, like within the realm of what we know how to do if we know how to perform these translations and reflections in combination or in composite. So what we have to do is look at this beginning and ending triangle, the pre-image and the final image, and decide how we can actually get there. Right. So one thing we have to notice right off the bat is which triangle is our image triangle and which is our pre-image triangle. There's a fairly easy way to tell. The best way to do it by far is to observe the vertices. Like sometimes a problem will just tell you, hey, we started with this triangle, we ended with this triangle. Excuse me. But in this case, if we observe that we have C primes here and we have regular C on the blue triangle, we can conclude that the pre-image triangle is a blue one and the image is a pink one. And so that what this problem really says is, how do you go from blue to pink, right? We're giving you options, right? Now, the truth is, as you study this in class, there are many options. Like there's more than one pathway to get from the blue to the pink triangle. So we want to give you the options to choose from and then kind of decide which one is the best. There's many different approaches here. I'm going to share with you with mine, which is really just to take the ones up here and just test them out. And you don't have to test them out with the whole triangle. You should test them out with a single point. So like, for example, let's test out A first. So keep in mind, as we kind of talked before, this is going to be the first transformation, and this is going to be the second transformation, right? And so let's first test just a single point. Let's translate left 8 up 6, because that's what negative 8 comma 6 will be, right? And then let's flip over the x-axis and see if it even matches, all right? So we're going to travel left 8 up 6, and then flip over x. All right, so let's try it. So let's just do it with part B, or with B. So we're going to travel left 8. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to travel up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be like our B prime. And then we're going to flip over the x-axis. Okay. And so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to the axis at a right angle, 1, 2, 3 away from the axis. And look at that, we ended up right at B double prime. Now this gives me confidence that this is probably going to work, but let's go ahead and map out the rest just to be sure. Okay, so now that we have some confidence that this is the correct one, okay, we traveled up 8 over 6. For A, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, excuse me, right there. Now, if you look at the vectors, those are going to be parallel congruent. We end up right on A prime. If we flip that over the red line of reflection, which is also the x-axis, it's going to stay put, and so that matches that one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we have a parallel and congruent vector. If we map that as a reflection, we're going to end up right on that new point. Okay, and so that's going to be B prime. That's going to be C prime, and that flips to C double prime. A prime stays where it is. All right, I'm just back shading the triangles here. All right, so we went to this triangle through that reflection, or through that translation, excuse me. Okay, then we reflect over the red line, and we end up right back onto the pink triangle. And so, in short, what I'm trying to tell you is there's no magic bullet here that's going to solve this problem easily. What you're going to have to do is to test the ones that you have and just see which one ends up correctly. I'm going to point out why A is also, or this, looks like I messed up the numbering here. This one's also a good choice. But I want to demonstrate kind of what I was talking about by showing you why this one is not a good choice. All right? This is not the answer. Let me try to demonstrate what an easy way is to tell. It's going to be actually just to track, again, a single point. Right? So here's what I mean. So this is going to happen first. That's what's supposed to happen first, right? So reflection over the x-axis. Come on, scroll, buddy. Okay, so if I take point B and I reflect it over the x-axis, that's where the point B is going to be, or at least B prime, right? And then this says to translate left 8 up 6, right? So left 8 up 6. So we travel left 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then up 6. We end up like up here, like way off the grid. Well, certainly that's not going to be where the pink triangle is because there is no pink triangle there. And that's what I mean by just testing them out. Like that's really what you have to do is just test out the sequences and see which ones work and notice which ones don't. Okay, so again, no magic bullet. I wish I could say there's a fast way to do these problems. There's not. You're just going to have to literally map at least a couple points out and see which ones actually match. Now, I circled this one also because I want to point out this is also okay. I'm not going to draw over this because it would be way too messy, but I can like highlight. And I think, let's see, where's the highlight button? I guess we can just draw. I'll draw and then erase it. Okay, so this one says to translate over 8 first. So if you track like point B, if I travel over 8, okay, we're gonna end up right here where B prime is. And then if I reflect over the line y equals 3, which is actually the same reflection line, I'm gonna end up right where I was. And so both those ones will actually work. Okay, so in terms of like picking these out, sometimes there is more than one pathway. As you found in class, there are many pathways. And so as you're kind of deciding which one is the best one to use, sometimes it can be more than one answer. So just be careful of that. Okay, let's look at number 2. Maybe. Okay, and again, I forgive me for like the weird lettering here. That's just me copying, pasting to save time. Again, I think there's a couple different versions of the answer, right? So let's kind of examine this one first, right? This is to reflect over the y-axis and then travel back 5 down 1. Okay, well, if this is my line of reflection, okay, if I'm going to travel as a reflection, B will go 5 to the axis, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from it. A will travel 8 to the axis, and then 8 away from it. And then C goes 5 to the axis, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away from it. Okay, so I have this nice little triangle right here. That I did through a reflection. Okay, so remember, right angles are in play here. Same distance, same distance, same distance, same distance. All right, so that'll be B prime, that'll be A prime, and then that'll be C prime. All right, now in terms of the second motion, we're going to go back 5. Back 5, back 1. So back 5, down 1. A is going to go down 5, back 1. And look at this. See how it's landing right on that triangle? That's what we're looking for. Okay, and so my final triangle will end up right where it is. Okay, and so that pathway definitely works because we're seeing a mapping right back onto that final triangle. This other one will work too. So this is kind of interesting. That's, again, more than one way to do this. It depends on the order in which you see it. Again, I'm not going to like map this full one out, but this says to take this, the second one says to take the triangle, go over 5, down 1. Do you see how that matches perfectly? B to B double prime. If we go A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, well, you can see like if I take this point that I'm currently at and reflect it, I'm going to be on the A, and then over 5, down 1 puts me around that triangle. And so again, just word to the wise, there's more than one way to do these. And so like if you have a path, I think that's great. Be on the lookout for other ones. Okay, so like just because it's not the way you personally see it doesn't mean that another pathway won't work, right? Okay, for this last one, there's only one correct answer here. We're going to reflect over the x-axis and then move it. Now, that's not to say there aren't other correct paths. This is not in the choices that I gave you. Okay, so we're going to reflect over x and then move over 9 up 3. Okay, so let's just check this out. So we're going to reflect over this axis. Then we're going to move up and to the right. Okay, so but let's map the reflection first. So C will go to C prime. A travels down 4 and then down 4 more. B will travel down 1 and then down 1 more. Okay, so C prime ends up here. A prime, B prime. And again, we see the right angle. I mean, this is, again, at this point in the review, hopefully this is like purely review, but same distance on either side of the line of reflection. And the line of reflection is going to hit those at a right angle. So when we have this, all right, so drawing blue, pop that out to 4. All right, so we're here. All right, and then the second movement is up, over 9, up 3. So over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then up 1, 2, 3. Look at that, right on B prime. So over 9, up 1, 2, 3. We're on A prime. Then over 9, up 3. We're right on C prime. Look at that. And since we moved over 9 and up 1, we know they're parallel and congruent. Okay, and we land right back on the shape that we were. All right, guys, that's it. That's a whole test. Just like every other test, we're not hiding anything from you. Like, we're telling you everything that's going to be on the test so you can practice appropriately. So we've now completed every problem on the review. So these videos are going to be available up into test time. So study hard, do your best. We'll see you on test day. All right.